The hospital ship floated through space like a white pearl against the darkness. Its hull was painted bright white with massive red crosses visible from every angle. The ship's name, Nightingale's Promise, gleamed in letters tall enough to read from kilometers away. Inside the ship, Dr. Park Hana walked through the medical bay, checking on her patients. Hana was a small woman with tired eyes and steady hands. She had been working on hospital ships for 12 years now. The medical bay was filled with beings from a dozen different species. A four-armed Kelton lay in one bed, recovering from radiation poisoning. Next to him, a crystalline shardling sat in a specialized tank, its broken structure slowly healing. Hannah treated them all the same way, with care and patience. "Dr. Park, we have the supply manifest ready," said Kim Da-ho, walking up behind her. He was the chief medical officer, a tall man with gray hair and a warm smile. He had worked with Hannah for 8 years. They made a good team. "Thank you, Da-ho. How are our stocks looking?" Hannah asked. "Good for another 3 months. The resupply at Kepler Station went smoothly," he replied. Choi Murray appeared from the surgery wing, pulling off her surgical gloves. She was the head nurse, young and energetic with quick movements and a sharp mind. "The Vulcan patient is stable now. The surgery went well. He should recover fully in a few weeks." Hannah nodded. This was what they did. They traveled to the dangerous parts of space, the places where wars happened and people suffered. They healed anyone who needed it. It did not matter which side of a war someone was on. It did not matter what species they were. The hospital ships of Earth followed old rules, rules that most of the galaxy had forgotten. The bridge officer's voice came through the communication system. "Dr. Park, we are receiving a distress signal." Hannah headed to the bridge immediately. The captain, an older man named Ru Sunho, pointed at the screen. "It is from the colony on Theta 7. They are reporting an outbreak. Some kind of plague. They are asking for medical assistance." "How far?" Hannah asked. 2 days at current speed. "But doctor, we are scheduled to return to Earth. Our rotation is over," Captain Ru said carefully. Hannah looked at the message on the screen. The words painted a picture of suffering. Families sick. Children dying. No medical facilities advanced enough to help. She thought about her warm apartment back on Earth. She thought about seeing her sister again. Then she thought about the oath she took when she became a doctor. "Change course for Theta 7. We go where we are needed," she said. Captain Ru smiled. He had expected nothing else. Setting course now. The crew moved with practiced efficiency. The hospital ship turned, its engines pushing it toward the colony in need. Hannah went back to the medical bay. They would need to prepare. An outbreak meant they would need isolation units, quarantine procedures, and lots of medicine. Da-ho was already organizing the supplies. "I heard about the course change. Plague protocols?" "Yes. Get everything ready. We do not know what we are dealing with yet," Hannah said. Mirae joined them. "I will prep the isolation wings." "How bad is it?" "Bad enough that they called for help." "We will know more when we arrive," Hannah replied. The ship hummed through space. In the mess hall, the crew ate together. Humans sat next to aliens. A young doctor named Bae-jun told jokes that made a Kelton engineer laugh in her clicking language. A technician named Song Haru played cards with a patient who was well enough to walk around. This was the way of hospital ships. Everyone was equal here. Everyone was safe here. On the second day of their journey, the sensors picked up something. A fleet of ships ahead. Captain Ru studied the readings. "Dr. Park, please come to the bridge." Hannah arrived to see the captain looking worried. On the screen, she could see at least 30 warships. They were Vexian vessels, blocky and covered in weapons. The Vexians were known across the galaxy as warriors. They respected strength and nothing else. "They are blocking our path to Theta 7, Captain Rue said. "Hail them." "Hail them. Explain that we are a protected hospital ship on a medical mission." Hana ordered. The communication officer sent the message. They waited. Finally, a Vexian face appeared on the screen. He had gray skin and 3 eyes, with ridge patterns that marked him as high-ranking. "I am Commander Throck of the Vexian Hegemony. You will alter your course." "Commander, we are the Nightingale's Promise, a hospital ship under Galactic Concordat protection. We are responding to a medical emergency on Theta 7, Hana said calmly. "Theta 7 is under Vexian blockade." "Turn back," Throck replied. "Sir, there are sick people on that colony. We are bound by treaty to provide medical aid to any who need it," Hana explained. Throck's 3 eyes narrowed. "Human, you do not understand. This is a military matter. Your treaties mean nothing here." Captain Rue stepped forward. "Commander, we have no weapons. Look at our ship. We are clearly marked as medical personnel. The Concordat laws protect us. Your human laws are weak. You will turn back or be fired upon," Throck said. Hana felt her heart race but kept her voice steady. "Commander, we are going to Theta 7. We will not turn back from people who need help." Throck laughed, a harsh sound. "Then you are fools." The screen went dark. Captain Rue looked at Hana. "Doctor, we should consider turning back." "He is serious." Hana thought about the message from Theta 7. She thought about children suffering. She thought about the promises she made. "No, we continue. They will not attack a hospital ship. No one in the galaxy is that barbaric. It would be against every law." "I hope you are right," Captain Rue said quietly. The Nightingale's Promise moved forward, its white hull bright against space, its red crosses visible to all. Inside, the crew prepared to save lives, unaware that everything was about to change. The Nightingale's Promise moved closer to Theta 7. On the bridge, Captain Rue watched the Vexian fleet with growing unease. The warships stayed in formation, blocking their path. The hospital ship's sensors showed weapons charging, but Rue tried to stay calm. No one attacked medical ships. It was the most basic rule in the galaxy. "Dr. Park, perhaps we should contact them again," Rue suggested. Before Hana could answer, the sensors screamed a warning. A small transport ship appeared on the edge of the system, moving fast. It was damaged, trailing atmosphere from several holes in its hull. Behind it, 6 Vexian fighters gave chase, firing weapons. "Captain, that transport is hailing us," the communication officer said. A desperate voice filled the bridge. "This is refugee transport, Hope's Light. We are unarmed civilians fleeing the war zone. We have families aboard. Children, please help us." Hana did not hesitate. "Tell them to dock with us immediately." "Doctor, if we take them aboard, the Vexians will be angry," Captain Rue warned. "We are a hospital ship. We give sanctuary to anyone who needs it." "That is the law," Hana said firmly. The transport ship limped toward the Nightingale's Promise. The Vexian fighters followed, still firing. One shot hit the transport's engine, causing an explosion. The small ship spun out of control, but managed to keep moving toward the hospital ship. "Open the docking bay." "Get them inside now," Hana ordered. The massive doors of the hospital ship opened. The refugee transport barely made it inside before its engines died completely. Medical teams rushed to the docking bay. Hana ran with them. When the transport's doors opened, she saw families stumbling out. Women carrying children. Old men helping the injured. They were Keltons, their forearms trembling with fear and exhaustion. "Get them to the medical bay. Check everyone for injuries," Hana commanded. Myrae and her nurses moved quickly, guiding the refugees. Deho helped a wounded Kelton who could barely walk. "You are safe now," He told them in their language. On the bridge, Captain Rue faced a new problem. Commander Throke's face filled the screen again. He looked furious. "Human ship, you have interfered in Vexian military operations. Release those refugees immediately." Throck demanded. Why you stood straight. "Commander, those are civilians seeking medical sanctuary. Under Galactic Concordat Article 12, we are required to provide them protection. I do not care about your articles. Those refugees are enemies of the Vexian hegemony. Hand them over or face consequences," Throck said. Dr. Park arrived on the bridge, still wearing her medical coat. "Commander Throck, look at our ship. We are clearly marked. We have no weapons. Our shields are at minimum power. We are a hospital ship. You cannot threaten us." Throck leaned forward. "You humans think your rules protect you. You think being weak makes you safe. You are wrong. We are not weak. We are healers." "There is a difference," Hana said quietly. "Then heal this," Throck said. He cut the communication. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the sensors showed something terrible. The Vexian warships were powering up their main weapons. All of them. Targeting the hospital ship. "Captain, they are locking weapons on us," the officer said, his voice shaking. "That is impossible." "We are a protected vessel," Rue said. But even as he spoke, he knew it did not matter. "All hands, brace for impact," he shouted into the ship-wide communication. The first shot hit the shield generator. The Nightingale's promise shook violently. Alarms blared throughout the ship. The second shot punched through the weakened shields and hit the medical bay directly. The explosion tore through 3 decks. Hana grabbed onto a console as the bridge tilted. "Get everyone to the escape pods. All patients, all crew, everyone." "Doctor, the refugees." Marie's voice came through the communication, filled with static. "Get them out too. Everyone lives." "That is our mission," Hana shouted back. Another explosion rocked the ship. This one hit the engine room. The lights flickered and died, replaced by emergency red lighting. Captain Rue pulled up the damage reports. They were catastrophic. Down in the medical bay, Daeho refused to leave his patients. A young human doctor named Beijun tried to pull him away. "Sir, we have to go. The ship is breaking apart." "Not without them," Daeho said, helping a shardling into a mobile container. The ceiling above them groaned. Daeho looked up and saw it starting to collapse. He shoved Beijun backward, away from the falling metal. The ceiling came down on Daeho, burying him. Beijun screamed and tried to dig through the debris, but more explosions forced him to run. Throughout the ship, the crew worked desperately to save everyone. Mireille led a group of children to an escape pod. Songharu carried an injured Kelton on his back. The refugees they had just rescued helped the human crew, returning the kindness they had been shown. On the bridge, Hana worked at the communication console. The ship was dying around her, but she had one last task. She activated the black box recorder, the device that would survive even if the ship did not. "This is Dr. Park Hana of the Earth Hospital ship Nightingale's Promise. We are under attack by Vexian forces, led by Commander Throck. We are a clearly marked medical vessel. We carried only patients and refugees. We were unarmed. They fired on us anyway. They murdered healers. They murdered patients. This recording will show what happened. Remember us. Remember what they did." Captain Rue put his hand on her shoulder. "Doctor, we need to go now." Another massive explosion tore through the ship. The bridge began to decompress. Hana and Rue ran for the nearest escape pod. Behind them, the beautiful white hospital ship broke apart. The red crosses that had marked it as sacred were torn to pieces. The escape pods scattered into space like seeds from a dying flower. Inside them, The survivors held each other. They had lost friends. They had lost their ship. Beijun cried for Daeho. Myre held the Kelton children, who asked for their parents. Songharu stared at his hands, still covered in blood from trying to save people. In her pod, Hannah watched the debris field that had been her ship. 47 crew members dead. 89 patients killed. The Vexian fleet remained in formation, weapons still hot from their massacre. The black box floated in the wreckage, its signal pulsing steadily. It carried the truth of what happened. It carried proof that someone had done the unthinkable. They had attacked healers. They had murdered the innocent. They had broken the most sacred law in the galaxy. That black box would make its way to Earth, and Earth would have to decide what to do when their healers were slaughtered for showing mercy. Admiral Yun Taiyang stood in the command center deep beneath Geneva. He was a tall man with white hair and a face that rarely showed emotion. He had been in the military for 40 years. He had seen many things, but nothing had prepared him for what appeared on his screen. The black box recording from the Piers and from the Scifistories from nothing had prepared on his screen. The black box recording from the Favorite Nightingale's promise played in complete silence. Around the room, officers and analysts watched. They saw the hospital ship, white and peaceful. They saw the refugees boarding. They saw Commander Throke's threats. Then they saw the attack. The video showed it all. The first weapons fire hitting the shields. The medical bay exploding. Crew members running with patients. The ship breaking apart. Through it all, the ship's hull remained clearly visible, marked with enormous red crosses. There was no mistaking what it was. When the recording ended, the room stayed silent. Taiyang watched it again, then a third time. Each time his jaw got tighter. How many survived? He asked quietly. 12, sir. Out of 136 crew and patients, an officer replied. Taiyang closed his eyes briefly. He had known some of those people. He had attended the ceremony when Dr. Park Hannah received her command. He had met Kim Daeho at a medical conference. Good people. Healers. Dead for trying to save lives. Get me the president, Taiyang said. Within an hour, President Kang Ji-won convened an emergency meeting of Earth's Security Council. The council room was deep underground, protected by meters of steel and concrete. Representatives from every nation on Earth gathered around the table. The room had not been fully assembled like this since the Unification Wars ended. 200 years ago, Taiyang played the recording for them. Some representatives looked away. Others watched with growing anger. President Kang, a woman who had built her career on peaceful diplomacy, watched without blinking. The Galactic Council has sent a message, an aide said when the video ended. They express their condolences and call for restraint. They suggest diplomatic channels to resolve this incident. Incident, repeated Kang softly. They call the murder of 47 medical personnel an incident. Madam President, what are our options? Asked the European Union representative. Kang looked at Admiral Taiyang. Admiral, please brief the Council on our military capabilities. Taiyang stood. He pulled up displays that most of the Council had never seen before. Ship designs, fleet compositions, weapon systems. The representatives leaned forward, surprised. For the past 2 centuries, Earth has maintained what we call the emergency defense fleet. The galaxy knows about our explorer ships and our medical vessels. They do not know about these, Taiyang said. The screens showed warships, hundreds of them. Sleek destroyers, massive carriers, ships designed with all the hard lessons Earth had learned from centuries of warfare on their home planet. We have 300 combat-ready vessels. Each one uses technology the galaxy has not seen before. We developed them quietly, hoping we would never need them. We wanted to be explorers and healers in the galaxy. not warriors. Taiyang continued. How is this possible? How did we hide this from the galaxy? Asked the Asian Alliance representative. We did not hide anything. We simply did not show it to them. When we joined the Galactic Concordat, we registered our hospital ships and science vessels. No one asked if we had others. No one thought peaceful humans would need warships. Taiyang explained. President Kang stood. The question before us is simple. What do we do? The galaxy expects us to file diplomatic protests, to accept apologies and promises that this will never happen again, to be the peaceful humans they think we are. And what do you recommend, Madam President? Someone asked. Khan's voice was steel. I recommend we remind the galaxy what humans are capable of when you murder our healers. The vote was unanimous. Earth would respond with force. Not conquest. Not revenge. But Justice. Taeyang returned to his command center with authorization for Protocol Lionheart. The protocol had been written decades ago by military strategists who understood human history. It outlined exactly how Earth would respond if their peaceful presence in the galaxy was ever attacked. Messages went out across Earth's military networks. In orbit around Mars, ships began to gather. Captains received their orders. Crews reported for duty. Some of them had been waiting their entire careers for this moment. Others had hoped it would never come. Captain Li Haiyan commanded the destroyer. Inchin's fury. She read her orders 3 times to make sure she understood. Her ship would be part of the vanguard, the first wave to hit the Vexian home system. She thought about her daughter, who wanted to be a doctor like the ones who died on the Nightingale's Promise. Engineer Nam Sujin worked on the flagship Soul's Pride. She checked every system twice. The ship carried experimental weapons that had never been tested in real combat. Weapons designed by people who remembered Earth's brutal history of war. She made sure everything was perfect. Pilot Minjae gathered his fighter squadron for briefing. He was young, only 25, but he had trained for this. All of Earth's fighter pilots had trained for the day when peaceful humanity would need to show its teeth. Our mission is simple, Minjae told his squadron. We protect those who heal. When someone attacks our medical personnel, they attack all of us. Today, we show the galaxy what that means. The fleet assembled in space was impressive. 300 warships in perfect formation. Earth had no orbital weapons platforms. No battle stations. They did not believe in permanent military presence in space. But they believed in being ready when needed. Admiral Taiyang stood on the bridge of the Soul's Pride. He composed a message to the Vexian hegemony. It was short. To the Vexian hegemony and Commander Throck, you attacked the Earth hospital ship Nightingale's Promise. You murdered medical personnel and patients under Galactic Concordat protection. You have violated the most basic laws of civilization. We demand you surrender Commander Throck and all personnel involved in this attack within 24 hours. If you refuse, Earth will come to collect them. This is your only warning. The message was sent. Earth waited for the response. It came within an hour. Commander Throck himself appeared on the communication screen. He laughed when he heard Earth's demands. Foolish humans. You send your healers into space and think that makes you strong. You have no warriors. You have no power. We are Vexian. We have conquered 100 worlds. What will you do? Send more doctors for us to kill? Throck said. Taiyang's expression did not change. You will find out what we will do. In 48 hours, we will arrive at your home system. Prepare yourself. I look forward to destroying your fleet as easily as I destroyed your hospital ship. Throck replied. The communication ended. Taiyang turned to his officers. Set course for the Vexian home system. Maximum speed. All ships are weapons-free the moment we arrive. The Earth fleet began to move. 300 warships burning through space toward the Vexian hegemony. The galaxy watched in surprise. Peaceful Earth was going to war. The Vexians prepared their defenses, confident. The Galactic Council called for peace talks, worried. And somewhere in an escape pod, Dr. Park Hana heard about the fleet and wept. Not for herself, but for what was about to happen. She had tried to save lives, and now Earth was going to war because of it. The Earth fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Vexian home system. 300 warships appeared in perfect formation, their weapons already charging. No speeches. No demands. They had given the Vexians their chance to surrender. On the bridge of the Soul's Pride, Admiral Yun Tai-Yang studied the enemy positions. The Vexians had assembled their home defense fleet. Over 400 warships stationed around their 3 inhabited planets. It should have been an intimidating sight. Status report, Tai-Yang ordered. All ships in position. Weapon systems online. Electronic warfare suite ready. Fighter wings prepared for launch, the tactical officer reported. The Vexians are hailing us, sir. Communications said. Commander Throke's face appeared on screen. He looked amused. So the humans actually came. I expected you to hide behind your council and make protests. This is unexpected, but also foolish. Commander Throck, you are charged with the murder of 47 medical personnel and 89 patients. You attacked a protected hospital ship. Surrender yourself and your officers, and we will leave your worlds intact, Tai-Yang said calmly. Throck laughed. Look around you, human. You are outnumbered. Your ships are small. You have never fought a real war in space. We are Vexian. We have crushed empires older than your species. Turn back now, and I will let you live. You had your chance. You chose this, Tai-Yang said. He closed the communication. All ships, execute battle plan Gamma 7. What happened next shocked the Vexian fleet. The human ships did not charge forward in brave but stupid frontal assault. They spread out in a pattern the Vexians had never seen before. Each ship knew exactly where to be, moving with precision that seemed impossible. Captain Li Haiyan commanded the Ancient's Fury at the head of the vanguard. All weapons, fire on my mark. Her ship's targeting systems locked onto a Vexian heavy cruiser. Mark, the destroyer's railgun spoke. Not energy weapons like most of the galaxy used, but solid metal slugs accelerated to incredible speeds. The Vexian shields, designed to deflect energy, barely slowed them down. The slugs punched through the hull like it was paper. Across the battlefield, other human ships opened fire. The Vexians had never seen weapons like these. Missiles that changed course in flight, chasing their targets. Electronic warfare that shut down Vexian targeting systems. Cyber attacks that made enemy ships fire on each other. What is happening? A Vexian captain shouted as his weapons refused to obey his commands. Engineer Nam Sujin worked at her station on the Soul's Pride, her fingers flying across the controls, jamming their communication frequencies. They cannot coordinate. She reported that the Vexians had learned to fight against enemies who used the same tactics they did. Stand information. Fire energy weapons. Board and capture. Simple, brutal warfare. They had no answer for what Earth was doing. Pilot Ominje led his fighter squadron into the chaos. Strike Team 7 with me. Target the command ship's sensor array. His fighters moved in perfect coordination, weaving through enemy fire. They had trained for this their entire careers. Every human pilot knew the history of atmospheric combat on Earth. They adapted those lessons to space. The Vexian fighters tried to intercept them. They were fast and well-armed, but they fought as individuals, each pilot seeking personal glory. The human pilots fought as one unit, covering each other, moving in patterns that had been refined over centuries of warfare. Oh, Binge's squadron destroyed the command ship sensors with surgical precision. The massive Vexian vessel became blind, unable to coordinate its fleet. Other human squadrons targeted communication relays, engine clusters, weapons batteries. They took apart the Vexian defense piece by piece. On his flagship, Commander Throck watched his fleet fall apart with growing horror. How are they doing this? They are peaceful explorers. They send doctors into space. Where did they learn to fight like this? His tactical officer had no answer. The human ships were everywhere at once. They did not fight with honor or glory. They fought with cold, calculated efficiency. Every shot was aimed to disable, not destroy. Every attack was coordinated with 10 others. It was warfare as a science, not an art. All ships, concentrate fire on the human flagship. Throck ordered desperately. 20 Vexian warships turned their weapons on the Soul's Pride. Energy beams and missiles filled space. For a moment, it looked like they might succeed, but the human ships around the flagship moved to intercept. They took hits meant for the Soul's Pride. Their shields flared and died. Some ships took critical damage, but they did their job. The flagship survived. Enemy reinforcements jumping in, sensors reported. More Vexian ships appeared from other parts of their empire. The humans were now outnumbered 2-1. The Galactic Council observers, watching from a distance, expected Earth to retreat. Instead, Admiral Taiyang gave new orders. All ships, proceed to attack pattern Delta 9. The human fleet did not retreat. It adapted. Ships that had taken damage fell back to support positions. Fresh ships moved forward. Wounded vessels provided electronic warfare support and targeting data. The fleet moved like a living thing, each part supporting the others. This was the lesson Earth had learned from its own bloody history. They had fought 2 world wars, countless smaller conflicts. They had perfected the art of combined arms warfare, of logistics, of coordination. The galaxy thought peace made them weak. They were wrong. Peace made them choose not to use what they knew. The battle raged for 6 hours. Slowly, methodically, the Earth fleet dismantled the Vexian defense. They targeted weapon systems, not ships. They disabled vessels, not destroyed them. This was not about revenge. It was about justice. Finally, Commander Throck's flagship drifted in space, its weapons offline, its engines dead. Human Marines boarded it. They moved through the corridors with the same precision their ships had shown. They were not there to kill. They were there to arrest. OK stood on his bridge, surrounded. Captain Li Haiyan, leading the boarding party, pointed her weapon at him. Commander Throck, you are under arrest for war crimes. You will stand trial for the murder of protected medical personnel. This is impossible. You are humans. You are weak, Throck said. Li Haiyan shook her head. We are not weak. We chose to be healers and explorers. We chose to be better than what we were. You made us remember what we were capable of. You should have left our healers alone. Across the battlefield, the Vexian fleet surrendered. Their home defense broken. Their command captured. They had learned a terrible lesson. Just because someone chooses peace does not mean they have forgotten how to wage war. Admiral Taiyang surveyed the battlefield. 15 human ships severely damaged. 300 crew casualties. But they had won. The Vexian fleet was scattered. More importantly, they had sent a message. Earth protected its healers. Earth protected those who could not protect themselves. Attack the innocent, and you would face warriors who had spent 2 centuries hoping they would never need to fight again. The Soul's Pride broadcast a message to every ship in the system. This is Admiral Yun Taiyang of Earth. We came for justice. We have it. Commander Throck will stand trial. Any species that attacks medical personnel will face the same response. We are healers first, but we have not forgotten how to be warriors. Leave the innocent alone. The Earth fleet remained in the Vexian home system for exactly 30 days. Not as conquerors, but as peacekeepers. Admiral Yun Taiyang made it clear from the beginning. Earth did not want territory. Earth did not want an empire. Earth wanted justice and a promise that this would never happen again. In those 30 days, the human forces worked methodically. They dismantled Vexian military installations that had been used to terrorize weaker species. They freed labor camps where the Vexians had kept prisoners from a dozen conquered worlds. They collected evidence of war crimes that went back decades. Commander Throck sat in a cell aboard the Soul's Pride. He received basic necessities and medical care. Nothing more. He had expected torture or execution. Instead, he got legal documents, lists of charges, evidence. The humans were going to put him on trial. I do not understand you, Throck told Captain Li Haiyan when she came to check on him. You defeated us. You could take our worlds. You could enslave our people. You could do to us what we did to others. Why do you not? Li Haiyan looked at him with tired eyes. Because that is not who we are. We came for justice, not revenge. There is a difference. You are weak, Throck said again, but this time his voice was uncertain. We destroyed your fleet in 6 hours. We captured your home system in 30 days. Does that seem weak to you? Li Haiyan asked. She walked away, leaving Throck alone with his thoughts. On the Vexian capital planet, engineer Nam Sujin worked with a team helping to restore civilian infrastructure. The battle had damaged power stations and water systems. The human forces fixed them. They provided food to populations the Vexian military had neglected. They offered medical care to anyone who needed it. The Vexian civilians watched in confusion. Conquerors were supposed to take everything and leave them with nothing. These humans gave instead of took. Why do you help us? A young Vexian asked Nam Sujin as she repaired a water purification system. Because you are not Commander Throck. You did not attack our hospital ship. You are just people trying to live your lives, Nam Sujin replied. The Galactic Council met in emergency session. Representatives from 200 species gathered to discuss what Earth had done. Some were horrified by the display of military power. Others were secretly pleased that someone had finally stood up to the Vexian hegemony. Representative Han Yunji spoke for Earth. She was a small woman with gray hair and a steady voice. She had been a teacher before becoming a diplomat. The council calls for us to withdraw immediately. You say we have violated the peace. You say we are aggressors, Han Yunji said. But where was this council when our hospital ship was attacked? Where was this council when medical personnel were murdered? You sent us condolences and asked for restraint. The situation required diplomatic solutions. A council member argued. Diplomatic solutions failed the moment. Commander Throck fired on a protected vessel. Han Yunji replied. We trusted the galaxy's laws to protect our healers. Those laws failed. So we protected them ourselves. The council chamber erupted in arguments. Some supported Earth. Others condemned them. Finally, the council chairman called for order. What does Earth want? The chairman asked. Han Yunji stood. We want a new treaty. One with actual enforcement. We want it written into law that any species that attacks medical personnel, that attacks protected vessels, that violates the basic rules of civilization, will face consequences. Real consequences. And if we do not agree? Someone asked. Then Earth will become those consequences ourselves. We will station ships near every hospital vessel. We will protect the healers because clearly no one else will, Han Yunji said. The threat was clear. Earth could enforce its will now. The galaxy had seen their fleet. Better to make a treaty than to oppose them. 3 weeks later, the Treaty of Terra was signed. Every species in the Galactic Concordat agreed to it. The treaty made the protection of medical personnel absolute. Hospital ships, medical facilities, healers of any species were sacred. Violating this law meant facing not diplomatic censure, but military intervention by Earth. The trial of Commander Throck took place on a neutral station. Judges from 5 different species presided. The evidence was overwhelming. The black box recording from the Nightingale's Promise played for everyone to see. Testimony from survivors. Testimony from Throck's own crew members. Pilot Ominje attended the trial. He sat in the gallery and watched. He thought about the people who died trying to save lives. He thought about what their deaths had meant. When the verdict came, it was unanimous. Guilty on all charges: murder, war crimes, violations of the Concordat. Throck and his officers received life sentences in a galactic prison. As they led Throck away, he looked at the human observers. You have made enemies today. Other species will see what you did. They will prepare. Next time will be different. Representative Han Yunji met his gaze. Then let them prepare. Let every species in the galaxy know what happens when you attack those who heal. We are not conquerors. We are not empire builders. But we protect the innocent. That is what humans do. Back in Earth's solar system, reconstruction began on a new hospital ship. They called it the Nightingale's Promise too. It would be bigger than the first one, better equipped, and it would have an escort. A destroyer would shadow every Earth hospital ship from now on. Dr. Choi Mai accepted command of the new vessel. She had survived the attack on the first Nightingale's Promise. She carried scars from that day, both physical and emotional. But she chose to return to space to continue the mission of healing. Why do you go back? A reporter asked her. After what happened? Mai thought about Dr. Park Hana, about Kim Dae-ho, about all the friends she lost. Because they died doing what they believed in. Healing people. Saving lives. If I stop now, if I let fear win, then they died for nothing. The galaxy needs healers. So we will keep healing. The new hospital ship launched with ceremony. Representatives from across the galaxy attended. They saw the white hull with its red crosses. They saw the destroyer that accompanied it, weapons ready but silent. Admiral Yoon Tae-yang gave a speech at the launch. 200 years ago, Earth emerged from terrible wars. We decided then to be better. To explore, not conquer. To heal, not harm. We sent our best people into space as doctors and scientists. We hoped the galaxy would respect that choice. When Commander Throck attacked the Nightingale's Promise, he thought he was attacking weak humans. He was wrong. He attacked healers. And Earth will always protect those who heal. Let this new ship and her escort be a reminder. We choose peace, but we have not forgotten how to ensure it. The ship departed for its first mission, a medical emergency in the outer colonies. As it flew through space, the destroyer followed like a guardian. The message was clear. Attack healers and face warriors. Across the galaxy, the balance shifted. Hospital ships from all species received better protection. Medical facilities were respected in war zones. The laws that had been ignored for centuries suddenly had meaning again. Because Earth had shown they would enforce them. Dr. Park Hana's family received a memorial on Earth, a simple stone with her name and those of the crew who died with her. The inscription read, "They chose to heal. We chose to protect them. May the galaxy remember both." In her cabin, on the new Nightingale's Promise, Mai looked at a picture of the old crew. She touched the glass gently. "We continue your mission," she whispered. "And we are protected now. You did not die in vain." The ship jumped to faster than light speed. Behind it, the destroyer kept pace. Ahead of him, people who needed medical help waited. The work of healing continued. And somewhere in the dark between stars, every species that had thought about attacking a hospital ship, that had considered violating the rules, that had believed humans were weak, thought again. They remembered the Earth fleet appearing like avenging angels. They remembered the Vexian home defense shattered in hours. They remembered that humans were healers by choice, not because they had to be. The galaxy learned its lesson. Humans came to the stars as explorers and doctors. They preferred peace. They chose mercy. But they had brought something else with them too. They had brought the knowledge of how to wage war, learned over thousands of years of their own brutal history. They kept it hidden, hoping never to use it. Touch their healers, and they would remember. They would come with ships and weapons and 2 centuries of restrained fury. They would bring justice. Earth had shown the galaxy a new truth. The most dangerous warriors are not those who love war. The most dangerous warriors are those who love peace enough to fight for it.